Go. Okay, so this video is one on government intervention and needs to be watched in line with the other video on government intervention, what the key reasons for it. So everything is not on this video, you need to watch the other one too. So government intervention can be split into two main areas. The first one, increasing competition, and the second one is regulation. So increasing competition is a way that government intervenes, hoping the increase in competition in the market will help to keep prices low and quality and quantity high. And if that can't help, then they will intervene through regulation to help to solve the market failure. Now, there are a number of items which I'm going to go through now, which can be used to explain government intervention, but it's not clear on the specification which ones you need to know. So I've tried to pick out the real biggies, but there are others that you can read about in textbooks. So specifically, the type of government intervention which occurs in this Theme 3 module is control of mergers. So as we know that when we have a merger, then what you often create is a larger firm that may be a monopoly or act as a collusive oligopoly in the market. And that will mean that prices will be lower, prices will be higher and quantity will be lower. So when governments intervene, they hope to keep prices low and quality high. However, mergers have been seen to be allowed in times of significant financial crisis and economic turmoil. So for example, in the economic crisis, we did see mergers in the banking sector, and during the coronavirus, we saw it in the airline industry. So the government allowed these mergers even though they wouldn't normally, because of this significant threat that they were to these key industries. We have seen mergers not being allowed though with supermarkets, so for example Asda and Sainsbury's in the past. Governments also intervene to control monopolies. They're watchful of collusion because they want prices to be low and quality to be high. Government also intervenes in prices to regulate them. So what we actually see is through the regulators, they use RPI minus X and RPI plus K. So RPI minus X is a way of keeping prices low. So what happens is the regulator will say to these key industries that your prices are allowed to increase by inflation RPI, but minus a certain percent. So for example, 1%. The idea here is that you move the firm from being X inefficient to move towards its long and average cost curve, because you're insisting that they reduce their costs down because you don't allow prices to rise by inflation. The other type of regulation is RPI plus K. So this occurs where you have an industry that's suffered with a lack of investment over a number of years, and the regulator allows for prices to increase so that firm can then invest in certain industry, in their industry. It's only really seen in the water and railway industry, because what it means for consumers is prices are rising higher than inflation. The other different types of ways that governments can intervene is through performance and quality. They look at the number of complaints, customer service like and innovation, and they intervene if they feel that they are falling below the standards they would expect. They look at promotion of contestability. How is it that other firms are able to enter the industry? What are the barriers to entry like? And we've seen quite a bit of movement in this area in relation to banking and the energy market particularly. So we've seen a large number of small banks and an increase in a larger number of smaller energy providers in the market, helping to keep prices low and quality high. There's also privatisation and deregulation. Privatisation occurs by way of a firm that was owned by the government is sold off to be run by the private sector. This increases money that the government receives straight away, because the fact that as you sell the industry off through shares, you get money in from the government. But most importantly, rather than the firm being run by... Stop.